Welcome back everyone to Mixed Media Dude. Today we're going to take a look at composition, focal point, leading lines, and even contrasting color in a way to pull viewers into your works. I'm going to start off with some pieces I finished in the past couple of weeks. And this one's a painting on canvas and using acrylic ink, chalk, pastel, oil pastel, several mixed medias in here. But in this piece, I'm going to pull back and you can see how I used both warm and cool colors to bring a harmonious effect to the painting. These first couple of pieces I'm going to show you is how I use groupings of people to bring in an effect of bringing the viewer into the picture. All of these figures are touching each other, but it does form a focal point where your eye will go into the center of the piece through that grouping. This landscape with the stream, you can see your eye kind of starts at the bottom right and goes up to the left. And using a theory of leading line with the trees, kind of guiding your eye through the composition. This is another one using trees where the figure is the focal point, but those side trees on the side are what kind of brings your eye back into the distance. This next picture is the one we're going to work on today, but I'm going to wait until later to start you on that. I'm going to show you just a few more examples of using warm and cool colors. This coffee pot really kind of screams off the page with the bright red, but I decided to bring some yellowish green in the background to bring that contrasting color effect together. The next one, the trees in the right hand side, once again an example of a little bit of a leading line where you kind of start at the bottom and work your way up, and it leads you back into the barn in the distance. And this is an image I took from where I live. And here's another one of a still life where the little toys in the bottom part of the picture kind of leads your eye into the middle of that dish and will take you on up to the cat. So once again, trying to lead your eye into the piece. This one is a collage. You can see some collage on the shoulders, also in other parts of the piece, but the face is the focal point, emphasized, and that is what will immediately grab what you're looking at. Finally, I have a piece of a gouache and Prismacolor mix, and the warm colors are contrasting with some of the cooler colors in the shirt, the darker crimson color along with the blues in the face. So now I'm going to bring you back to where I started, about midway when I started this picture of the piece we're going to do. And this is going to require just a minimum amount of drawing, almost like a cartoon, just a single line, a single contour line going around and bringing in a figure. I'm just using a 6B drawing pencil here to sketch in some of these parts of the image. And the woman is going to be carrying flowers, and they're kind of going to be draped throughout. And I'm not putting her completely in the center of the piece of paper. She's just slightly left. So there's hopefully no static design in that way. And you don't really want to center your subjects. That kind of goes with photography, but also with painting and drawing. So I'm just going to sketch this in here to begin with, and I will take you through into the color here very soon. And there you go, just kind of a real, not much detail, just a very thin sketch, not any shading whatsoever. So I'm going to just go directly into my palette of gouache and watercolor. I use kind of a mixture of both. And I'm just going to start dropping in some color to begin with, maybe going to the hair. And I'm going to work fairly quickly. I'm not concerned about details yet. I'm going to let this kind of go the way it wants to go. And a lot of you have seen me work abstractly. Today I'm working more with realism, but it's still kind of an abstract piece. It's not photographic quality. I'm letting the colors bleed as I work forward. This is an example of the rule of thirds, and I've started that picture, the centering. I didn't want to center it, so I put her off slightly to the left. And the rule of thirds is really kind of imagining your image as a tic-tac-toe pattern, where I'm trying to put her on the left side of those lines, the vertical lines if they were drawn out. I've talked about rule of thirds in other videos, but you know, take a look if you are not familiar with that. You can see even some of the crimson of the flowers are kind of bleeding up into the face, which is okay. I'm going to work with that as I go forward here. But I'm also going to bring in the stems, the green contrasting with the reds. My attempt today is to do a figure along with a still life of flowers, but I also added a landscape behind it. So you got the three trifecta: the person, the figure, the still life, and the landscape. So here I'm going to skip here just ahead just a tiny bit. And you can see how some of the colors have faded in. And here I'm going to bring in acrylic ink. I found that watercolor, gouache, and acrylic ink really work well together, and you can really get some nice variety. The watercolor and gouache will be slightly lighter. The acrylic ink will be darker, which allows for better detail when you get ready for that. I'm hoping the green stems into the flowers kind of bring your eye from that part into the face as we go up. In the end, I'm going to put a tree to the right of her, which hopefully will also kind of envelop the figure to bring all attention into the flowers and the face. You may ask how I got the figure in this image. It's not completely dreamed up. I went through some of my sketchbooks and found a figure in one of my other pieces. It was very small, so I decided to enhance the size a bit and kind of re-examine that figure. And I do that a lot, and I'd like to look back at past drawings. Sometimes I'll take some older ones and put them in new pieces. Okay, so I'm going to get just a little bit closer with a different camera angle as we come in, and I'm going to show you, now I want a really strong contrast, so I'm bringing in a really dark bluish purple, a cooler color to contrast with those warm flowers of the oranges and yellows and reds. So that will, you know, it's kind of like negative paint, a sense of negative space painting, where this is going to really hopefully bring those warms out. And now I'm going to go ahead and bring that tree in like I said before, and I'm going to have this limb kind of envelop the figure around her. And so my goal is to bring your eye up through the flowers, but also that leading line of the limb to kind of bring it around and bring focus to the face. So still, we're looking at the color. I've got the dark greens on the stems, but I'm going to lighten up the color in the background, but I still want a contrasting color with the flowers. So it's kind of a yellowish green, more yellows than green on the background. On the tree trunk, I'm bringing in some browns, purples, reds, and I'm going to try to get a different shade of that. Kind of more, it kind of borders on a reddish brown. So once again, I'm thinking about contrasting colors. I've got the flowers with the reds, and then I've got the yellowish green background, and now it's going to be contrasted by yet another reddish brown. And I'm also going to go ahead and skip ahead and bring in some shades along the tree. I'm bringing a dark purple into the brownish reds. I also have some yellow in there in the middle part of the trunk to kind of bring some more warmth into that tree. So as that goes, I'm going to go ahead and start finishing out the rest of the background just with another variety of greens that I can kind of bring in there. So I'm mixing actually oranges and kind of a hooker's green together to bring that to contrast the limb. So once again, I've talked a lot about some leading line. I've talked about composition and contrasting colors, cools and warms will definitely bring your eye into any painting or a mixed media piece you're trying to do. Okay, here I'm bringing in some Prismacolor pencil, and I'm just going to add some interest, some different variety of green. With landscapes, that's probably been a constant thing for me to try to find as many different kind of greens as I can. I'm also going to kind of delineate those fingers more. This is indigo blue. I'm not using a black. And here's some acrylic marker. Acrylic markers are really nice to use. Just kind of gives some variety in the leaves. Another shade of green, yet another one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring some acrylic ink in here now to really further that contrast. The acrylic ink will always dominate the gouache and the watercolor and really give you a stronger edge. So here we are at the end. I hope you liked the video today. If you did, please like, please subscribe, please comment. I love all your guys' questions and I'll try to answer them as best I can. But anyway, have a great week and I will see you next time for another video.